we are here today because of the murder of an innocent little girl by the name of Tracy Johnson. The facts will show beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant, Pat Johnson, is guilty of the charge of murder in the first degree. The evidence strongly suggests that it was Pat Johnson who was the murderer of Tracy. Both Officer Swiss and Logan Lee will attest to the fact that Pat Johnson appeared very calm and collected the morning he supposedly found out for the first time that his one and only daughter had gone missing. Logan Lee will testify to how, when Pat began to search the house, he found the body of his daughter in the first place he looked, despite the fact that it was a very secluded part of the house. Logan will also testify to Pat's habit of excessive drinking and how it often made him quite aggressive. In addition, Logan will testify to how Pat admitted that he thought the girls at the beauty pageant looked hot, and that his favorite part was picking out the clothes that Tracy was to wear. Officer Swiss will testify to the fact that there were no signs of a forced entry, and in fact there weren't any footprints in the freshly fallen snow surrounding the house. How then could some foreign person have entered the house in the middle of the night? Officer Swiss will also testify to how Pat Johnson conveniently compromised the crime scene by picking up Tracy's body, thus negating any potential DNA evidence. Now, the defense desperately needs an alternative to the inevitable fact that Pat was the killer, and they will likely try to place the blame on either Logan Lee or Kinder. However, it is almost inconceivable to believe that Kinder was the killer. Putting aside the distance he would have had to cover to get to Lawton, the size and confusing nature of the house, coupled with the distances within the house between Tracy's bedroom, where she was found, and the wastebasket with the discarded ransom notes, it all indicate that the person who killed Tracy was quite familiar with the layout of the house and felt comfortable within it. The multiple attempts at a ransom note will also indicate that the killer felt comfortable within the house. In addition, the autopsy has revealed that Tracy was sexually molested at least 72 hours prior to her death, at which point Kinder was still in Alabama, 1,000 miles from Lawton. This finding also shows that it was not Logan who killed Tracy, as he would not only have had to have been alone with her during that time, he would also have had to prevent her from saying anything to her father or to anyone else. There was also no reason as to why Logan would have committed this heinous crime. The defense will likely attempt to portray that Logan felt a sense of jealousy towards Pat, but the facts will show that Logan in no way held a grudge of any sort against Pat. There are various requirements that must be met before a charge of murder can be proven. These include that Pat knew that there was a high degree of probability that his acts would result in death or serious injury, that he intended to commit the act which killed Tracy, and that Pat has no lawful defense for his act. There is no question that Pat knew that Tracy was likely to die. As we shall see in the autopsy report, Tracy was strangled with use of a wire. This is not an action that can be performed with an outcome other than that of death. This also could not have happened accidentally, meaning that Pat must have intended to kill Tracy. It is also impossible for Pat to have a lawful defense for his actions, as under no circumstances is it legal to murder a defenseless 6-year-old girl. In conclusion, the only result that will conform with all of the evidence will be that Pat Johnson is guilty with the first-degree murder of Tracy Johnson. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is the defense prepared to make an opening statement?